Hi.
Hi there.
I'm Keshava.
Hi, Keshava. My name's Narayan.
Good to meet you, Narayan. I'm going to be your instructor for today.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
wonderful. So what brings you here today? Why do you want to learn how to
Well,
meditate?
I'm quite a busy person. I have a really hectic schedule.
Yeah.
Work a lot.
Sure.
Family life.
Right.
Job.
All of it.
And my mind is kind of swirling.
Right.
And I really need some stress reduction.
Absolutely.
I feel like really tense.
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, let's just start with a preliminary technique that is really effective for like loosening up the body.
Oh,
so what
okay.
we're going to do is we're going to double inhale through the nose. It's going to sound like this. And we're going to exhale through the mouth. And you already started doing it, but we're going to tense the body, low, medium, high, kind of like you're compressing the spring.
Okay.
And then on the inhalation, and then as you exhale, you're going to relax the spring. So let's do that together. Good. Let's do that again. Inhaling twice. Tense the body, low, medium, high. Hold. Relax entirely. And one more time. Tense from toes to head. And one more time. Drop the body completely. And just, with closed eyes, that's great. Just take a mental scan of your body now. And just see if maybe there's a little less tension than there was before.
Yeah, I feel
Great.
energized.
Great, perfect. So you can open your eyes now. That's a very preliminary meditation technique that you can employ before the rest of your meditations. And as you can see, it's a great way for releasing tension from the body.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's tension that you don't even realize you have until you let it go.
Right.
Sort of like when you lie down to sleep at night and then you breathe a couple times and all of a sudden you realize you're doing this and your face relaxes. So this is something that I've found to be incredibly effective for letting go of tension. And you can do this any time of the day. If you're at work at your desk, you can do that. If you're in your car and stuck in traffic, you can do that. So that's a very easy thing you can take with you anywhere.
Okay.
And if during this course you feel like you're getting tense, just I won't mind.
Okay.
All right. So I just want to share with you briefly why I started meditating. I actually started for a slightly different reason, and that was I actually kind of started as a fluke. I just woke up one day and decided I was going to start meditating regularly. And once I started doing that, I started realizing that everything in my life just came more easily. All the things that I love to do, I just was inexplicably better at them. And that flow state that athletes will talk about where things just come naturally and easily, I started experiencing that in my life. Not just in any one activity, but it felt like my entire existence was kind of in that flow state. And so meditation hooked me with that. And as I actually went deeper into meditation, I started discovering that like when you relax the body, you actually get to enjoy yourself and enjoy where you're at. With meditation, I discovered that as I was able to relax my mind and my heart, I was able to experience who I truly am and actually discover who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's actually what's kept me meditating for the last several years. But, like you said, if stress relief is what you want meditation to do for you, it can do that. It also may do more. And so I was just sharing that.
Great.
As maybe it can offer you more than you can expect.
Yeah. I'll take the stress reduction.
Let's start with stress reduction. So let's just talk briefly about what meditation is. Meditation can be defined in several different ways, but a few that I resonate with is that meditation is listening. And if you just think about the difference between speaking and listening is the receptive side of that coin.
Mm-hmm.
And we spend so much time in our lives today always talking and doing and being busy, and not so much time being. Meditation is like the ultimate state of just being. And of course, when someone says we're listening, my natural question is, what are we listening to?
Mm-hmm.
And what we're listening to is like our own highest potential, that part of ourself that is untouched by stress and storm, that is perfect and undaunted and possesses all the qualities that you could possibly imagine. And just interestingly, when we meditate, we will focus our eyes at the point between the eyebrows. You may have heard of this before. Basically, just to establish that, let's just hold our thumbs out at eyes distance. Great. Now, gazing at your thumbnail, just go ahead and lift it up about 45 degrees while keeping the chin parallel to the ground. Great. Yep, you're doing great. Now, just close your eyelids and keep the eyes gazing up like that. It should be like a gentle upliftment. Great, so now this is what yogis call gazing into the point between the eyebrows, or the spiritual eye. And just simply holding your gaze like this has been shown to activate the prefrontal lobes of the brain. So you can go ahead and open your eyes again if you like. And the prefrontal lobes are located right here. And they have been shown to be the part of the brain that is responsible for higher awareness and thinking, creative thought, empathy, basically all the things that make humans great.
Right. Get me out of like the crazy mode.
Exactly. Out of the crazy mode, which is in the back of the brain,
Yeah.
the animal part of the brain, and into the creative, the
Right.
super conscious.
Like I want to honk when somebody
Yeah.
cuts me off.
Exactly. This is the I'm gonna not honk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Can I still honk though?
you know what? If you can honk with bliss, honk with bliss. So, when we sit to listen in meditation, just like when you listen to somebody else in conversation, you do them the courtesy of looking at them. This is the source of our higher self, so we'll do it the courtesy of looking at it.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's just a fun way to think about it. So you're actually sitting beautifully right now, but another essential part of meditation is simply posture, because as we did with the double sniff, sniff, and exhale, the body can store a lot of tension. And if we're holding tension in the body, it's hard to access our higher parts of our being in our brain, because simply our concentration is being held in our leg, for example.
Right.
So what we're actually going to do, you're doing it wonderfully already, but let's just go ahead and pick our butts up off the back of the chair and set it back down, trying to get onto your sit bones, which are like under your pelvis. Yeah, great, you look great. So your hips right now are higher than your knees, which I want to point out. And this simply will facilitate blood flow, so your legs won't fall asleep when you're meditating, which will help you to meditate more comfortably, which is great. And why don't you just bring your feet just a little bit forward so your feet are under your knees. There we go. And again, this is just trying to stack your body like a building. If it's nice and straight, then it's comfortable.
Yeah, that feels more comfortable.
Yeah, and so you can go ahead and now just take one hand and put it on your lower back. Do you feel that nice natural inward curve of the spine there at your lower back?
Yes, I had to kind of push forward to get that a little bit, but I feel it now.
Good. Can you relax into this place, or do we need to raise you up a little bit more?
No, I feel it now.
Okay, wonderful. So now, good. Now, with you actually put your other hand on your stomach, which is wonderful. Now, just go ahead and relax your stomach. Great. So, meditation is an incredibly active state of relaxation, and so it's wonderful that you have brought your hands to your stomach. One of the first things we need to learn how to relax is the diaphragm, so we can breathe properly. So, why don't you just keep breathing like that, actually, and focus on your breath. And why don't you just go ahead and feel the sensation of the breath moving in and out of your nose. If you can do that for me. Great. Now, what's really fascinating is there's actually a connection between the mind and the breath. I'm sure you've noticed, like you said, if you get stuck in traffic and you want to honk at that guy, your breath probably seizes up.
Right.
Right? Whereas if you actually get to like relax on the beach with your wife and the kids are at daycare, finally your breath relaxes. So in meditation, we want to get to a state of that deep relaxation with intense concentration. So you can go ahead and open your eyes now. So meditation has, beautiful, you are a natural. That's actually exactly what we wanted to be doing with our hands. So with the hands pointed upwards, resting on our thighs, this cultivates an attitude of receptivity, which, just like I was saying, using the analogy of listening, you want to be receptive to what you're listening to. So you are right now, I want you to bookmark this. This is pretty much the ideal meditative posture. And if you're comfortable, this is going to be great.
Yeah, I feel very comfortable and sort of uplifted at the same time.
That's meditation. You just defined meditation. Yeah. But as I was beginning
I'm not
to
here
say,
to take your job.
No, I appreciate that. As I was beginning to say, meditation can be kind of defined as two parts, which is the getting there portion and then the being there portion. And so in the getting there portion, we're going to relax our body, we're going to calm the mind, and then we're going to focus the mind, and we're going to concentrate at this point between the eyebrows. And then the second part of our meditation is just the being there portion. We're going to let go of the techniques, we're going to let go of focusing on anything, and we're just going to enjoy. I like the analogy, because I like sweets, that the first part of meditation is like baking your cake, and the second part is that you get to eat the cake. So it would be a shame if you went through all the effort to bake your cake and then didn't eat it.
Yeah.
So let's make sure to do both. So I've actually already shared with you the first technique that we're going to do, which is the double inhale, sniff, sniff, and
Right.
that's to relax the body. Now there's another one that we're going to practice together to relax the mind. So why don't you go ahead and close your eyes and gaze up at that point between the eyebrows. Wonderful. And now why don't you begin by exhaling completely. Good. And now inhaling through the nose. Let's inhale to a count of 5. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now hold the breath and exhale. Good. And inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath. Exhale. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Do one more at your own rhythm. Inhaling, holding, and exhaling, all to the same meter. It can be shorter or longer depending on your breath capacity. And when you're finished, you can open your eyes so that you know. Great. So that technique is a wonderful way to calm the mind and let the mind relax.
Okay.
So now we can relax the body and we can relax the mind with 2 very simple techniques.
Okay.
So when we're going to go through a guided meditation together in just a moment, and those will be the first 2 techniques we'll use. Those are preliminary ones, and then the main technique that I'm going to teach you is called Hong-Sau. And Hong-Sau is actually an ancient mantra from India, though it's a universal technique. And Hong-Sau means, Hong means like I am, and Sa means spirit. Or you can think higher self, or relaxed, or whatever it is that you're looking for. And so when we inhale through the nose, we will mentally chant Hong to accompany the inhalation of the breath. So if it's long, it'll be a long Hong, or short. And then as you exhale, it'll be Sa. Does that make sense so far?
So I'm just following the breath and not controlling.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. That's a great specification. You're going to watch the breath almost as if it was somebody else's. So if it wants to be fast, let it be fast. If it wants to be slow, let it slow. If it changes, follow that.
Okay.
You're listening. You're listening to your own breath.
Okay.
Okay. And lastly, there will be one more part of this technique, which will be with the right forefinger, which is your right pointer finger. You'll curl the right forefinger in towards the palm as you inhale, and you'll let it extend back out as you exhale. Wonderful. Again, just to reiterate, like you said, we will not be controlling the breath, we're merely observing. Beautiful. Awesome. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Why don't you just take a few more breaths from me, and let's try and put all the things together. So it's Hong on the inhalation, Sa on the exhalation. Now why don't you go ahead and close your eyes and gaze up at that point between the eyebrows. Great. And then to let go of the technique, we're going to exhale 3 times through the mouth in rapid succession like this. And now let go of the finger movement and let go of the technique completely. Great. And you can open your eyes. So that's what the Hong-Sau technique is going to be like. We'll lengthen it a little bit when we meditate together now.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
No. It's pretty straightforward.
Wonderful. All right. So let's begin with our double inhale, sniff, sniff. Tense the body, low, medium, high, vibrate. Relax and feel relaxation. Inhale. Tense with willpower, willingness. Relax and feel with awareness. And inhale, tense. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, tense. Tense from toe to head. Great, and now let the breath flow naturally without controlling it. Let's take a few breaths like this. Through the nose. Beautiful. And now we'll do the even count breathing. So let's inhale together for a count of 5. And inhale. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Again, inhaling. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And when you do 2 more rounds at your own tempo, lengthening or shortening the count as necessary. This should be comfortable. You shouldn't feel like you're going to pop. Be relaxed. All the while gazing at the point between the eyebrows. That relaxed upliftment, like you said. And when you're finished, allow the breath to flow in and out naturally. And begin observing the breath as it flows in and out of your nose. And watch the breath as if it were someone else's. Give it total freedom. Feel the cool air on the inhalation and that warm air on the exhalation in the nostrils. And let's add the mental mantra Hong-Sau on the inhale and exhalation. And let's add the right forefinger curling in towards the palm as you inhale and extending back out as you exhale. If the gaze is dropped, let's gently bring it back to the point between the eyebrows. And attentively listen to the breath and the mantra Hong-Sau. We'll practice this technique in silence together for about a minute. Guide us out. Let's let go of the technique by exhaling 3 times through the mouth. And let the breath stay out, feeling and enjoying the sensation of freedom from breath. And inhale naturally when you feel to. And gaze deeply at that point between the eyebrows. This is that second part. This is when we get to eat the cake. This is the being there. Concentrate at the point between the eyebrows and feel. Become aware of any sensations that have been awakened. Perhaps a feeling of peace. And concentrate on that peace. Welcome it into every fiber of your mind and body. Let's take a deep breath in and let the breath out. And slowly open your eyes and reacclimate yourself to the world while still maintaining an awareness of that awakened peace. Are there any questions?
Wow. Yeah, don't know if I was doing it right, but I felt like there was a point where I didn't need to breathe. And even although it felt calm and peaceful, I actually kind of felt scared. Maybe I'm not doing this right.
No, actually, you're doing it very much right. Ultimately, this technique will bring us to such a state of relaxation that we will forget the breath.
Oh.
And so when you find that moment, perhaps there was that recognition, oh, I haven't breathed for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's great. Enjoy that stillness.
Okay.
Deep stillness. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got freaked out there for a moment.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. And like anything, with practice, you can learn to trust it. It might be scary at first, but just keep your mind open, and next time you find yourself in that place in the meditation, it might not be as frightening.
Okay.
Yeah, but this happens to a lot of people, and I think you'll find it to actually be a very enjoyable state.
Great.
Yeah. I'd like to talk briefly just about how to establish a habit of meditation, because if you were to go to a doctor, for example, for stress relief,
Yeah.
or like anti-tension medicine,
Yeah.
they would give you a prescription, and
I've already gotten them.
right, and for the prescription to be effective or not, you have to take it as it is prescribed, right?
Right.
And that typically is at a certain regimen, but usually every day, right?
Yeah.
Meditation is very much the same. Its benefits are powerful, but for them to really reach their potential, we need to practice every day, ideally. The best is actually to meditate morning and night, as it serves, it's kind of like putting your best foot forward. If you start the day by finding this deep sense of peace, and you can carry that throughout your day, the rest of your day is that much better. And then when you come home and you can relax through the meditation, you'll sleep that much better.
Okay.
And so it's a wonderful cycle in that they feed each other like that. So if you can just meditate, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night before you go to bed, that's wonderful. And if you meditate at the same times, for example, first thing when you wake up, last thing before you go to bed, that helps to develop the habit.
Okay.
And habit is a very powerful tool. Just like you don't got to think about brushing your teeth, you just
Right.
do it. You can be the same thing with meditation, except for meditation can give you that peace when you're stuck in traffic.
Okay.
Yeah. So this week, I'd like you to think about setting aside a space in your home that is solely for meditation, even if it's just a chair in your bedroom.
Okay.
Just meditate on that chair and pick a time or times that work for you, and try sticking to those times, and then observe how the rest of your week goes.
Okay.
And then next week, you can come in and we can talk about it.
That sounds great.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Keshava.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
No, I think I just want us to get into it.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear.
All right.
Thank you so much. It's
Okay.
been a pleasure.